Guys, so today we're only going to be learning about fractions. We're going to be adding fractions. So wait, before we even start with addition of fraction, I think we should review quickly multiplication of fractions. So let's say we have a fraction 2 over 3, and then we're going to multiply it by, let's give it a 2 over 5, right? Well, for multiplication, it's just multiply across. So 4 over 15, right? This was multiplication of fractions, right? Just simply get the numerators and multiply, get the denominators and multiply, and that was all for multiplication. Multiplication tends to be easier than addition. Most people have problems with addition because you would think that you would follow the steps that you did to solve this multiplication problem. So what I mean is, like, if let's say we had 2 over 3 and we're adding 2 over 5, right? What most people think you would do is you add the 2 and the other 2 and you get 4, and you add the 3 and the 5 and you get 8, right? But this is not correct, so not equal. The actual way to solve fractions is this one. So let's start again. So 2 over 3 plus 2 over 5. So what we do is that we want the same denominator for both fractions. So here we have a 3, here we have a 5. So the common approach is that you multiply each fraction by the denominator of the other fraction. So what I mean is, like, here we have a denominator of 5, so we're going to be multiplying 5 here, and we're going to be multiplying 5 there. So, and this will give us 10, because multiplication, 5 times 2 is 10, over 5 times 3, that's 15. Right? Now we're going to be adding, now this 3 times this fraction, so we're going to multiply it to the bottom and to the numerator, 3 over 3. So 2 times 3, that's 6. 5 times 3 is 15. And if you actually notice, when we're multiplying by 3 over 3 right here, and 5 over 5, we're actually multiplying the fraction by 1, because what's 3 divided by 3? Well, that's just 1. Well, what's 5 divided by 5? That's just 1 too. So 1 times anything is itself. So that means from 2 over 3, we just manipulated this fraction to turn into 10 over 15. And right here, this 2 over 5, we multiplied it by 1, because 3 over 3 is 1. And we manipulated this fraction to become 6 over 15. So that's the reasoning behind why we multiply by the denominators of the opposite fraction. It's just so you can manipulate your first fraction into becoming a fraction that has the same denominator as the other one that you're adding. Because now that you have the same denominator, you can add across. So 10 plus 6, that's 16, and you keep the denominator of 15. So let me show you something. So let's say we had a fraction, it's 1 over a, right? And then we're going to add to it another fraction, which is 2 over a. Well, now we have the same denominators, so we could just add across right here. We're going to add across, because if you have two fractions and they have the same denominator, then your final answer is going to have that denominator that was in common between the other two fractions that you were adding. So your answer is going to have a denominator of a. So now all you have to do is add the numerators. So 1 plus 2, well, that's 3 over a. So similarly, if I had 2 over, let's say, b, and I want to add this to, let's say, 3 over b, well, now I have the same denominator of b, so I can say 2 plus 3 will give me 5 over b, right? Because my final answer will have a denominator of b. Now the problem comes when you have, let's say, 1 over a, and we want to add 2 over b. Well, you can't no longer add these two just by adding the numerators, because they have different denominators, right? Which is what comes into play right here, this is what we did. We had the denominator of this fraction, the denominator, and we multiplied it to this one, both in the numerator and in the denominator. And we had this fraction, and we multiplied its denominator into the numerator and denominator of the second fraction. So we can actually try this one out. So let's try 1 over a plus 2 over b. Let's see what that'll give us. So here in this fraction we have a denominator of b. So we're going to multiply b to the numerator and b to the denominator of this fraction right here. Let me just split this up right here. So, and what's b times 1? Well, that's just b. B times a, well, that's a b, because ab means that you're multiplying these two variables, right? So now we're going to be adding this to the fraction of 2 over b, but b doesn't have a denominator of ab, which is why we get this denominator and we multiply it to the numerator and to the denominator. So we're going to multiply this fraction by a over a. So 2 times a, well, that's 2a, and b times a, right? B times a, well, b times a is the same thing as saying a times b, right? So a quick side note, that's like saying 1 times 2. Well, that's the same thing as 2 times 1. So you can actually swap this. So let me swap it right now so we can actually say that it's ab. So now we have the same denominator, so now we can add. So this becomes b plus 2a over ab, because these two have the denominator of ab, so my final answer must have the denominator of ab. Right? So that's the answer for that one. So coming back to this one, when we solve these two, we had a denominator of 15, so our final answer has a denominator of 15 too. And then all we did was add a cross. And it's the same thing here. We have the same denominator and we're adding a cross. Right? Just a quick side note is just that 16 over 15, this is called an improper fraction. The reason it's called an improper fraction is because the numerator right here, the 16, is greater than the denominator. So there's ways to turn this improper fraction back into a proper fraction. So all we have to do is literally just divide. So 15, how many times does it go into 16? Well, 15 goes into 16 one time. So we're going to subtract 15. We're going to be left with 1. How many times does 15 go into 1? Well, none. So the remainder is 1. And it's 1 in terms of 15. So it's going to be 1, and now the remainder 1 in terms of 15. And we get this. Now if we want to go back from here to here, all we have to do is you get this fraction, you get the denominator, and you multiply it times the coefficient, which is 1, and then you add it to the numerator. So it goes like from here, multiply, then that number you add. So 15 times 1, 15, plus 1, 16. 16 over 5. It's the same thing. Alright guys, good luck.